Hey guys, listen, man, I'm sorry I left you hanging, and I'm sorry I titled that video that way and didn't give you what I should have given you. My wife pointed that shit out to me. I'm sorry. I'm getting better though now. I'm still snipping like crazy, and I'm sorry that's annoying as fuck. I watch the videos, I know, but I'm getting better. So now I discovered what I did though is just earlier I made a whole 40 some minute video explaining the whole night of the ritual and the whole everything that happened, man, as succinctly as I could have. And what happened is I went to post it and they said, oh, your video is longer than 15 minutes. We're going to need to verify the phone number. We're going to need some picture ID. We're going to need this, that, and the other. Look, I'm not doing that. They can fuck off. I'm not giving them all my information. And that's the one, my facial recognition and my thumbprint. I'm not giving them all this information just to post a longer video. So guys, I'm sorry. You're going to have to stick with me. There's going to be now a part 2, probably a 3, 4, 5. I don't know. But I'm going to do them, try to do them quick. In fact, I'm going to try to just do this one, post it and start making another one, right? While that one's even uploading, and I'll open the camera, okay? Because I'm feeling better now, okay? All right. So we want to talk about the night of ritual, what actually happened. Guys, I'm gonna have to do build up to things though, okay? Just bear with me because the reason is if I don't give you some background information, number one, you won't understand it. You won't understand why it makes sense. That sounds like that's stupid. Why would they do that? Or it won't be believable to you. And what's the point of this if no one believes it, right? Okay. So, sacrifice. Something lost, something gained. Okay. The more dear the person is to you, like a mother is a good one, or a child, or the more dear it is to you, the more value it holds. Okay. And the more and better you get to gain. Okay. So that's what a sacrifice is about. Okay. Now, it's oftentimes an initiation to get into the brotherhood. That's what's the deal with Gypsy. Okay. All right. Now, I just want to, since I'm going to cut this off at about 13 and a half minutes and start a next part 3, okay? And do it that way. So I'm watching the time like a nut, but let me get out what most people want to know. Who was there that night? Who the fuck was there? So I'm just going to tell you that now. And then I'll explain other things as we fill in. David Blanchard was the one that brokered the deal. He was the one that ran the ceremony. He was the head of the ritual and everything. Kim Blanchard, his wife, who's also a Satanist and a witch and a coven, she filmed it. Okay? Then there was Gypsy. Then there was Ace Bannister, whose real name is Brian Rogers, but I'm going to just call him Ace Bannister from here henceforth. Okay? They're not two people. So there's Gypsy, Kim, David, Ace, and then Dan Glidewell. We all know him, right? And then it takes 6 to do a proper ritual. The 6th one was Nick. He's the scapegoat. They always try to put one in there that's unbeknownst to them, like in the Brian Kohlberger, Idaho 4. We have reason to believe that was a sorority killing that killed those girls, and they pinned it on the scapegoat. Wendy's case has a man named Jeffrey Lacasse, who they set up as the scapegoat. They always do that. Now, but he was the 6th one. Nick was the 6th one. So he's part of this ritual, but in a different way, how I'm going to tell you when I get to the video with the part in this series of how he was part of the ritual and tricked, okay? But, so those are the 6 people to make a ritual. That is who was there, guys. I don't care what anyone tells you or what anyone says. That is who was there. David Blanchard, his evil wife, they're filming all this shit because they're always filmed. Gypsy, of course, because her initiation. Ace, Dan Glidewell, and then Nick the scapegoat. Period, 100%. Okay? That's who was there. Okay. Now, if they were doing, please understand, David Blanchard brokered this deal. Gypsy had to give them something to offer, though, too. They don't just say, hey, this chick wants to, kill her mother. Hey, can we? No. You have to have something to offer, too. Okay? If they don't approach you and you want to, this was David Blanchard's probably idea, actually. He's been the Satanist a long time. They needed Dee Dee out of the way. What she had to offer was this house. Now, I'm not going to get into it on this video. It's a whole thing. I have to explain some things and tell you some things before, but that's what she had to offer. The house with those windows already blackened out, okay? The Brotherhood as part of it was going to, because they're not going to take the house from the poor little sick handicapped girl whose mother was just killed and her boyfriend who went crazy was just killed. She had to defend herself. That house would have went to her. She was already an adult. And the Brotherhood already said they would make sure it went through at court, and any probate or anything owed or anything that needed to be paid, they were going to pay it. They wanted the house for a reason, and I'll tell you in a later video. They've got to go down some rabbit holes even, kind of. Okay? That's what she had to offer, so please understand. And she was going to give up her mother and her boyfriend, supposedly the man she loved. So she was going to do a double whammy. She was going to give up those two people, sacrifice their life, do a torture ritual, and then she had her house for some very nefarious things they were going to do. Which are, again, okay? That's what she had to offer. And the reason it was Dee Dee is because she's her mother and she's very dear to her. It's someone you love. You got to give up something that's dear to you, or it doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's the deal. That's who was there, all right? Now, I need to tell this before we go any further. When I tell you what Gypsy did to her mother, and she 100% did this, and there's film of it somewhere, we need to preface it with this. That little girl that you saw in that fucking police interview, where she's, is not who she really was at all. That's the role. Her mother taught her to lie and act since a child. That is a role. She was a normal, 23-year-old young woman who was running around. This is what they called her, and I quote, all the people said the same thing. She was a ghetto hood rat, and she ran around with ghetto hood rats, a bunch of them devil worshippers too. And the Vision Con, there's a lot of devil worshiping people going on there too, by the way. All right? So, ghetto hood rat. She ran around drinking, smoking, hanging out with these people everywhere. Her mother blacking out the windows, not just they couldn't see her walk, because she had friends over and was hanging out. Her mother knew she was an adult. They were at it like a friend-like adult relationship. It's nothing what they told you. They built a whole narrative to make her look like a victim. Okay? No. Her mother had to understand. Her mother knew she was an adult, could come and go as she pleased. She was kicking her out. She kicked her out she was sleeping in the porch and bushes at date. She'd run to David Blanchard's house. She'd go to Dan's house. This is another reason. This was two birds with one stone. She could get fame and fortune and get this bitch out of the way. David wanted Dee Dee out of the way. They all wanted Dee Dee out of the way because they were cramping their style with that home. Okay? They had a lot of money to make out of that house. And I'm going to tell you in a later video what she had to offer via that house. David Blanchard set it up, which means he was responsible for getting the film of the sacrifice and the ritual for proof. He would hand it off to his contact person. Everyone in the Brotherhood has a contact person. Gypsy has a contact person. Everyone does. And then that person has one. That video would be put up the chain of command to wherever it lands, depending on how high up you are, right? How many hands it goes through. They're going to take that video and make copies of it and sell some of it. Not Gypsy's, I don't think, because she's well known. Everyone in the ritual would have been masked, and their appearances you can't see, except the person doing it. That's the point of it. Now they have record of it, and they also have a video to hold over your head. There she is doing it. You want me to send it to the news media? We got you forever. And that's why they do it. Okay? Now, normal people that no one knows, they sell these videos because there are sick fucks out there that will pay thousands and thousands of dollars to watch a real life someone being tortured and screaming, please, please just kill me. Just take me out now. Please, I'm begging you. I can't handle it anymore. Kill me. Just kill me. And screaming and all this. And then they watch them die and all that. And they get off on it and they will pay for it. A lot of money. Very wealthy people, a lot of them get sick in the fucking head. All right. So that's what that's about. David Blanchard would have been responsible for that. Now, anyone that knows anything about David Blanchard are reporting, and you could probably ask Trixie Lane. She knows the most. He is a control nut. He's very overbearing, and he's also like a stickler for the rules. He's involved in a lot of different organizations and things, and he's a know-it-all. Like, he knows that's not the way it's supposed to go. This is what the real rule is. No. The guidelines say this, and he knows everything. So that leads me to believe that he did a proper ritual because he had to turn the video in. He's responsible for brokering this shit. Okay? Which means, just like the movies say, guys, the movies are mocking real life. They would have all had the hooded, red or black hooded thing or over their face or a mask on. But they all would have that on. Okay? I know this is crazy. They did her on the kitchen floor. They would have moved the kitchen table out of the way, and they would have made a pentagram on the floor. I don't know this to be true because none of this was reported to us. I'm telling you that this is the proper way they should have done it, and I believe they did because David Blanchard had put his face on it, and he's a stickler. Okay, that's how I drew that conclusion. But they would have used like coal dust or chalk or something, and sprinkled it and made the 5-point pentagram. I don't think they would use something permanent, And then at whatever time they knocked her out, incapacitated her, drugged her, whatever they did, then they would have laid her on that pentagram on the kitchen floor. Then they did the torture ritual. Now, however long that lasted, I don't know. We don't know the times on that. And then it would culminate or end in their sacrificing or taking her life by her slitting her throat. Gypsy slit her throat. I need you to grasp that. She did. She slit her own mother's throat, just that quick. And once that soul left the body, she accomplished her lose something, and now she's gained something and she's in. That's why she was protected right away. That's why they flew in to help her, okay? Now, they tortured her. They were burning her. They were heating metal up and burning her. They were burning her with cigarettes. I know the FOIAs don't say that, but you guys, I'm going to make another video about the police corruption. They were all in on it. They were ordered to make this. They didn't give us that. They didn't give us the cigarette burns. Why? David and Kim Blanchard smoked cigarettes. Dee Dee smoked cigarettes, and so does Gypsy. The Gypsy, she used to take Dee Dee's cigarettes even since she was a kid. Everyone knows that. The one person that didn't is Nicholas Godejohn. And remember the narrative. He's this evil monster that snapped and killed my mama and then tried to hurt me, but then I had to kill him. That's how it was supposed to go, but we'll get to that in due time. Remember? She's going to do a double whammy. But somehow that failed. I don't know. I'll tell you how that was supposed to work as we go. Okay, so they're torturing, doing all these things to her. We don't know any about the burns and all the other shit they did to her, okay? And they're filming this, okay? And they're recording her screaming out things, right? Gypsy, don't hurt me! Gypsy, Gypsy, Gypsy! They recorded this for use later, right? Okay, so they should have been, I don't think the kitchen was big enough to stand 6 feet apart, but they would have been doing the deal, watching Gypsy. They mutilated her genitals with the help of Ace Bannister. She took a fork with forks. That's how low budget and trashy they are. They took forks and her and Ace Bannister mutilated her genitals. All of her mother's vagina, her labia, her clitoris, all of it. Ace Bannister to this day runs around and jokes. He calls her the heifer, Dee Dee, the big heifer. We made her look like raw ground beef down there. He thinks that's funny. A heifer, ground beef, ha. All right? So they tortured her, and they filmed it. People get off on that, all right? And I'm going to end this right here, and I'll see you in part 3.